Good morning children and welcome to Monday's comprehension lesson. So this is our last Monday of our home learning because next week we are going to be back into school and we can't wait to see you. You have really blown me away this lockdown and I'd love to finish just as well as we've worked all of this time. So today we are on page 6 in our comprehension booklet, and remember I'm doing the year 2 booklet. So the year 2 booklet has got the submarine on the front, which is what our text was this week, and we're on page 6 and we've got a piece of text here all about an instrument. It isn't a guitar. Have a look at the title of the page and have a see if you know what it says. It's a very tricky word. We're not going to sound it out and I'm not going to try and break it up. We just need to look at the word and I'm going to tell you now what it says. It's a bit of a funny word. It says ukuleles. What a silly word that sounds. Ukuleles. Can you say that? Ukuleles. Now let's have a little think before we go any further, because I've got my screen here. I would like you to have a look at the text and I would like you to have a go reading it first today. So usually we look at the key words first and we see what words we might not know the meaning of before we read the text. But I would like you to pause the video in a moment, go to page 6, look for the title, ukuleles, and I'd like you to read the text. Once you've read the text, I'd like you to press play and then we'll carry on. So pause the video and have a go reading your text. Well done. So by now you should know what a ukulele is. It is a musical instrument, okay? And you should know lots of information all about it. So thinking about what we did on Friday, we were thinking about non-fiction. And we were talking about a fact file. So my first question today, before we go any further, is the ukulele piece of text on page 6 fiction or non-fiction? So I've got fiction in this star and non-fiction in this star. And I'd like you to point or shout out to the TV or your phone and tell me whether the piece of text on page 6 is fiction or non-fiction. Say it a little bit louder. Send me a video and let me know. Well done if you are saying non-fiction. Page 6 in our work booklet today, all about ukuleles, is non-fiction because it is factual. It has got lots of information in it and it's got bullet points and it splits up lots of information into different facts. And everything that we read on page 6, which you should have done by now, tells us something about a ukulele. So we know that it is real. We know that it is informative, we know that it is factual, and it teaches us something about a subject. And that's what we learned yesterday about a non-fiction text. A little bit like the submarine. So yesterday we looked at the submarine non-fiction text. Today we've got another piece of non-fiction, but it is about a different subject. It is all about the ukuleles. And remember, fiction is a story. It is something that isn't real, it's something that we make up. It's like a storybook we pick out of a bookcase, okay? Something we use our imaginations for. So non-fiction is factual, and that's what text we've got today. We've got a fact file. So, here on my board now, I've got a photograph of our text, and we're going to have a look at it together. So by now we know what the title is. The title of the page is ukuleles. So let's have a look now and see if you read it correctly. We've got lots of tricky words in there and we've got lots of phase 5 sounds, but we've also got some quite big words that we might not know the meaning of and that we might not be able to sound out. So just take your time and read it with me, and like we do in guided reading, I'd like you to use your reading finger, point at the words and follow the text as I read it, okay? And I'm going to underline some words that I think might be important. So the first bullet point. The ukulele is a type of musical instrument. It looks like a small guitar. So that's an important piece of information, isn't it? And we've got the picture here. So we know already that the ukulele is a musical instrument. So underline musical instrument. And it tells us here that it looks like a small guitar. So let's underline that piece of information, because the word small is an adjective. So we know in our heads now, we can picture a guitar, and we can look at this photograph here, but it is a small one. So already we've got a much better understanding of what a ukulele is. So the second bullet point, ukuleles have 4 strings. So I'm going to underline the number 4. So on a guitar, there's lots of strings, but on a ukulele there are only 4. This means that they are easier to play than a standard guitar, which has 6 strings. So a ukulele has 4 and a guitar has 6. Third bullet point. The first ukuleles were made in Hawaii, that says. Hawaii. And I'm going to underline that there. And it's got a capital letter, so we know that it is a person, a place or a thing. And Hawaii is a place. The first ukuleles were made in Hawaii in the 1800s. So that was quite a long time ago. But we've got another piece of important information there. Last bullet point then, follow with me. Ukulele means jumping flea. Oh, I'm going to underline that because I think that might be quite important. So the word ukulele means jumping flea in Hawaiian. This might be because it is quite a small musical instrument, but nobody knows for sure. So we're not too sure why it's called a ukulele, and we're not too sure why it means jumping flea, but that is what it means in the Hawaiian language. So we've got lots of information and lots of facts all about the ukulele here. So well done if you read that by yourself and you've been able to pick out the words and you followed the reading that I've just done. So let's go on now and have a look at our activities. Oh, sorry, our vocabulary first. So, just in case you're not sure what any of these words mean, I've popped them on here together. So the first word, ukulele. Now we know that by now. A ukulele is a musical instrument that looks like a small guitar. Well done. We need to know what it is, don't we, that we're looking at. And here I've put the definition of a guitar, because we know a ukulele is a small guitar, but some of you might not know what a guitar is. And if we didn't have the picture on our piece of text, we might not know. So that's another good point about an informative text. Have a picture to match your text. So a guitar is a stringed musical instrument played by plucking or strumming with your fingers on your hands. So you might have been to a concert before, or you might have heard somebody playing the guitar and they put it in their hands and they do this and it makes beautiful music. And at the bottom, we've just spoken about the place Hawaii, but I've put it there for us just in case we forget that Hawaii is a US state and it's located in the Pacific Ocean. Now we talked about oceans the other day on our vocabulary list, didn't we? Ocean is a big, very large piece of sea. So there are 3 words. Make sure you read them, look for them in your text, and now we're ready to look at our next question. So on your page today, on page 6, question 3, we're going to look at together. We've got to write true or false about some sentences. So before I do this one with you, I'm going to show you under the visualizer what I mean. So page 6, ukuleles, there's your text, there's your picture of your ukulele, okay, and you've got 3 questions. So question 1 is a why question, which we've modelled before. Question 2, you've got to think about what a word means. Question 3, we're going to have a look at together. So you've got to write true or false. So you've got to read the sentence and then write if it's true or write if it's false. And all of the answers to your questions are always in your text, okay? So now you know where we are. Let's have a look at this one together. Now before we answer questions true or false, we need to know what they mean. And a good way to remember is true is a tick, it is right. False is a cross, and it's wrong. So if something is true, it's telling you the truth, it is right. If it's false, it is not right, it's incorrect, it's wrong, okay? So let's have a look at this sentence here. We know what this word says now because we've read it lots. Ukuleles are large instruments. Ukuleles are large instruments. So is a ukulele big or small? Is it large? Is it big? Or is it small? You might remember from when we looked at our text, but let's go back together and have a see. So we need to see if it's right or wrong. Is a ukulele large? So go back to your keywords, and here I underlined small guitar because when I was reading it I thought that was very important. The ukulele is a type of musical instrument. It looks like a small guitar. So it tells me in my text I've retrieved the answer. A ukulele is a small guitar. So, is this sentence true or false? Well done if you're saying it is false. Going to draw a circle around the word false. False is a cross. It is wrong because ukuleles are small. They are like a small guitar. Okay? So in your work booklet today, you've got 3 true or false questions. Okay? Yep, you've got 3. And you need to read the sentence, go back to the text, find out if it's true or false, see which part of the text tells you, and then you need to write it on the line at the end. So true is correct, it is right, false is wrong. And if you want to extend your learning as well for question 3, get your yellow lined work booklet out and give me a reason why it is true or why it is false. So my sentence for this one would be, ukuleles are like a small guitar, and that tells me it is false. So you've got lots of questions to get on with in your work booklet today. Then my challenge of the day today is, can you write a fact file about a musical instrument? So you can go onto Google and you can research instruments, and I've got a picture here of some instruments that might give you a little bit of inspiration. So you might spot an instrument on there and decide that's the one you want to do your fact file about. So maybe you could write 3 bullet points of facts about one of these instruments. We've got a piano, a drum set, a banjo. Oh, Google what a banjo is. A cello, a harp, a trumpet. There's lots of musical instruments, and you might not need to do any research because you might already know something about an instrument. You might play an instrument. So lots of things to be thinking about today. So send me a photograph, send me a video of your learning, of your discussions, and also send me a picture of your challenge of the day today, and I'll put some on my board for tomorrow, okay? So well done, let's make it a good start to the week, and I'll see you tomorrow for your Tuesday's comprehension.